This project explores the act of copying within the museum and the canonical archive, not as imitation but as research. I'm Mark Deane, a PhD researcher at Swansea College of Art. The paintings I've selected for this project are Two Figures in a Landscape by Kenneth Hancock, Deposition by Kyffin Williams, Christ Leaving the Praetorium by Gustave Doré, and Boy with a Feather by Ivan Walters. Historically, copying in museums was central to artistic training, from the academies of the 18th and 19th centuries to artists working in the Louvre. Copying was understood as a way of thinking through painting. The practical methodology unfolds in stages. First, tracing. By carefully tracing the painting, I locate its edges, where the forms meet, dissolve, or resist clarity. This process reveals structural decisions, often invisible to the casual viewer. Next, charcoal studies. Working in charcoal allows me to embody proportion and weight. Through gesture and correction, I internalize scale, balance, and spatial relationships. Light and dark become physical rather than optical problems. From there, I move into value studies, arguably the most important part. By reducing the painting to tonal relationships, I develop a deeper understanding of its architecture. Value clarifies hierarchy. What advances, what recedes, what anchors the composition. It's only after this analytical groundwork do I approach colour. I reconstruct the palette, testing mixtures and temperature shifts. A colour copy allows me to interrogate the painting's chromatic logic before committing to a true copy. Finally, I produce a copy on an appropriate substrate, chosen to echo the original material conditions. At this stage, copying becomes a synthesis of embodied knowledge, historical awareness, and philosophical reflection. I complete an effective journal after each session to record the practice. This is in constant flux as I gradually develop an appropriate matrix to analyse the findings. So far, I have learned that I have a respect for the paintings, and I attempt to paint them with the highest fidelity that my skill will allow. What I have also found is that I feel something of an ownership towards the works. My research revisits tradition but reframes it philosophically. Rather than treating the museum as a site of fixed authority, I approach it as an active archive, a space where meaning is continually renegotiated. I consider copying as a way of interrogating authorship, aura, transmission, and the relational life of images. The copy becomes not a secondary object, but a methodological tool. The paintings I selected were not chosen purely for canonical status, but for resonance, works that held a particular affective or formal charge for me. I was drawn to specific edges, tonal contrasts, compositional tensions, and colour relationships. The selection process itself became part of the research. Why does one painting call to the body more than another? The project ultimately situates copying as both critique and continuation. It questions originality while affirming material intelligence. It treats the archive not as static inheritance, but as a living network, a site of transmission, interference, and transformation. Going forward, this research has the potential to expand into comparative copies, disruptive copies, or archival interventions that foreground absence, translation, and mediation. Most significantly, through time spent with the painting of Christ Leaving the Praetorium by Gustave Doré, I have been fascinated by a small, indistinct detail of a woman holding a baby. This is the only figure in the painting facing the viewer. Could this reference Mary, mother of Jesus, on her way to the temple to present Christ the infant at 40 days? Interestingly, there is a diagonal construction line from the lower right to upper left corner, which passes through the mother and infant, then through a Roman legionnaire, leading directly to Christ. This abstraction lies entirely on the sinister diagonal. In copying, I'm not repeating the past, I'm thinking with it.